Welcome back to this special edition on Common Core with Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. Let's go right back to our studio audience. We have a question from the audience right here for Erin.
Yes, hi. My name is Claire, and I just wanted to state one thing, and that is I have 2 boys in college. I can't even get their grades because they're above 18 years old. So how do we figure that the government is able to collect data that's about me, my husband, my family, and keep that data in an unknown place for unknown people in unknown situations to track? That's insanity. The other thing is, as a teacher, I know that for years now, on our lesson plans, we've always had to state we have state standards, we have national standards, and we've always had to designate what standards we were using when we would come up with what we decided to use in our classrooms. They were general, they were basic, they would kind of focus on certain things that kids needed to know. This kind of thing is taking all the creativity out of teaching, all the creativity out of the kids, all the power of parenting away from parents. How do we opt out of this nasty craziness? How do we get out of this? Is this national? Is every state involved? Are there some states that are getting out of this thing? What can we do in Illinois? What can we do as citizens?
Really, different states are taking different tacks. Just so you know, this is a nonpartisan issue. Some of the teachers' unions are starting to cry about it because of the performance metrics for their teachers. And so on a teacher level, a lot of them have the same questions. What are you collecting? How are you collecting? How are you using it? Because their raises and their promotions, et cetera, are all based on this performance data. So in some states, it's kind of coming from that area. In other states, it's more conservative and coming from the grassroots like us. We're having an awesome success in a lot of states. These are the states that have passed legislation, are sitting on legislation, have paused Common Core, or have kicked it out. We now have in the rejected column, Nebraska, Minnesota, Texas, Alaska, and Virginia. In the fighting back really hard, have legislation, something's happened, we have Idaho, Utah, Colorado, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, North and South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Wisconsin. Missing, absent from that list, Illinois. So we just had an expert in actually who works on legislation, and really probably in Illinois, we need to first of all keep it nonpartisan, bring in all your friends, all your parents' friends. You need to go to every school board meeting. You need to go to every PTA meeting. Bill Gates has been funneling money into the PTA to brainwash those people. You need to ask about Common Core every day, all day. You need to go in to see your state legislators. They don't even know about this. And you need to just constantly, every single day, Facebook, phone calls, push, push, push.
Erin, I've got a question for you. What are some of the questions as we go to these PTA meetings and school board meetings? What are some good, compelling questions to ask our PTA members and school board that our listeners can bring forward?
At this point, we're kind of in the informative level. So if you go to stopcommoncoreillinois.org, on the resources and links page, I have printable items. And they list all the questions that you should ask. Generally, they're sort of questions that inform and question at the same time, because mostly people have only heard the good things about Common Core. They're hearing how wonderful the standards are and how smart our children will be and ready for a job. They've not heard about the implications, the legal problems with all this data tracking, et cetera. That's just not even a part of the conversation, and that's a problem, and you need to make sure everyone knows about it. That ends up being our job.
One more question, and then we got to go to Jack, because I know Jack has got something to say about this. So really quick question.
Yeah, Bob Black from Prospect. I became concerned a couple years ago when I saw that the artwork that my children were doing in the public school was extremely, I just want to say it was cookie cutter. Everything was identical. There was no creativity to it. And apparently, it's also, at least at the 6th, 7th, 8th grade level, it is tied in with the curricula that they're learning at the time, you know. And I'm wondering if that was part of common. I then learned that they had a state standard for teaching art, which I thought was
That's right.
outrageous.
Stay within the lines.
Yeah, it was just outrageous to me.
See, that's the thing, and one of the reasons this is so nonpartisan is really this actually is unconstitutional. It was brought in under No Child Left Behind, which expired in 2008. But everyone's just continued on with No Child Left Behind because once they seized their iron fist of control around the schools with No Child Left Behind, do you think the Department of Ed's just going to let that go? No. And that was brought in under the Republicans. And there's a lot of Republicans who are behind this. It's really a mindset of, I want to control kids and the future of this country through the schools, or I don't.
Right.
Somebody
It's not
else
about
said that.
parties. It's not about parties.
I was reminded, when she was saying that creativity is stifled.
That's right.
So my main question is, how far has Common Core come along? In other words, when did it start? How much of it has been implemented so far?
All right. Well, we have the English and we have the math standards. The database is going on line in some semblance this summer, and the science standards are coming next year.
And they can get this
social science
information
to
from
come.
you?
Yes, it's on the website.
And what's
And
the
what do they
website?
ask for?
It's stopcommoncoreillinois.org.
This is a very interesting show. Stay with us. We're going to have some more to talk about Common Core. Jack, 10 seconds. What are your thoughts?
Well, 10 seconds is this. This guy, Duncan, is running it. He came from Chicago, and he's had the aid of the IEA, the Illinois Miseducation Association, and that damned union is what's running the whole education system into the ground.